Well, hello guys and gals of the crochet world. This is my first video, so bear with me, but everyone was requesting this hat that I did. It's the checker hat. That's what I call it, at least. So I'm gonna go over how to do it, and we are going to work on it together. Today I'm gonna use Feels Like Butter. These are nice big skeins because, like, with this pattern in particular, it takes quite a bit of yarn because you're doing cluster stitches. So you're going to want to make sure you have at least 200 yards of the main color, and then you want at least 100 for the other color because you're using the secondary color for the brim and the little parts, so you don't need as much as the main color. Now, with the hats I make, you can literally use any yarn, any weight, it doesn't matter. Just follow the multiples that I'm going to give you when you make the brim so that you have the right multiples, and make sure that you do enough, like when you start the chain, make sure it's enough to fit the circumference of whoever's head that you're making it for. So a lot of the times I measure it around my own head to see it, and I judge it by putting 2 fingers in between my forehead and the chain, so there's a little bit of space just in case someone's head's bigger than mine. Now, if I'm making it for a child, then I measure it and I make sure it's about 17 and a half inches. And you can just use a tape measure and, you know, figure out that way when you're making the chain to begin with. So I'm with this yarn, with any yarn, I always take whatever it recommends for the crochet hook, and for the band I usually go up like 1 size. So this one wants you to use a 4mm, but I'm going to use a 4.5, and then for the hat I'm going to use 5 because I like it to be a little bit bigger anyways. So why don't we go ahead and get started. Alright, so we're gonna start by making the chains, and then we need to measure as we go to make sure we have the right length. I'm gonna go, this isn't, I mean, it's pretty stretchy once you get going with it, so I'm gonna get it to about 20 inches and see how stretchy it is. So I'm gonna start with 60 chains. Now, if you're using a bulkier yarn for this hat, you may only need, and you need even numbers for the multiples on this. So it can be any multiple of 2, basically. Anyways, if you're doing it with chunkier yarn, you may not need as many. I would check at about 54, 56, somewhere in that area. But we're going to take this and we're going to measure from end to end and see where we're at. Now this one's a little bit on the thinner side, so yeah, see, we're only at about 15 inches. So I'm going to go up to 70 and go from there. And I'm sorry if my camera quality is bad. I got myself a phone stand that I thought might work, but it's not as long as I would have liked it to be. So I am making do so I can get this video out for you guys. Okay, so I went up to 76 because I think 80 might be a little too long. Yeah, see, we're right about there. Now, I can't move the camera, but I'm going to measure it around my ears. See, this seems a little big to me. Well, it fits. You want it to fit just, you know, like, don't stretch it when you put it around. And you just touch it tip to tip. And you want it to feel a little loose, but not too loose. And I think this will be okay. I think I might come down 2 chains, and we'll go there. So I have 74 chains is what I have. And now we are going to follow this down real carefully, because you don't want to twist the chain. You want to make sure it stays nice and flat. And then you come down to the very first chain that you started with, insert your hook, and slip stitch it. So you have one big ring. Sure, if I could get it in there. There we go. Now I like to crochet these ends in so I don't have to worry about it. But we're doing the band first. So we're going to chain 2. Because we just need, and this doesn't count as anything. It's just a builder. Now you're going to go right back into where you slip stitched and do double crochet. Let me show you that, okay? You yarn over, you go into the stitch, or into the chain, sorry, bring up a loop, pull it through the first 2, pull it through the second 2. So now all you're going to do is double crochet in every chain around. I like to get it in the top loop, sorry. It doesn't matter, a top loop, under both loops, however you feel comfortable doing it, that's how you do it. So just follow it around, do 1 double crochet in each chain, and I'll meet up with you after that. Okay, as soon as you get all your double crochets around done, just make sure whatever chain you started with, the number you start with is how many double crochets you have. So now, you're going to forget about that chain we started with, and we're going to slip stitch into that first double crochet. Chain 2 again. Now we're going to do front post and back post double crochets. If you don't know what that is, I'll show you real quick. So forget about that chain, go to that first double crochet. You're going to yarn over, and instead of going in that top, you're going to go around the post. So you're going to go in one side, back up out the other side, grab your loop, pull through just like a regular double crochet, and there's your first front post. Now for back post, you're going to yarn over, and instead of going in like this, you're going to come up from behind that same spot and go around that way and do your double crochet. We'll do a few more together. So in and out, front post, double crochet, and then we're going to do the back post. You're going to yarn over, come back up, and go around it that way. Double crochet. In and back out, double crochet, yarn over, come up and back through, back post. Okay? And you're just going to repeat that all the way around, and I'll meet you back up. Okay, welcome back. Now, a good way to make sure you've done it properly is, as long as you have multiples of 2, you will end on a back post, because you started with a front post, you'll end on a back post. Now, just like before, we're going to ignore that chain. We're going to slip stitch into the first double crochet. Bam. You've got this perfect little circle. Now, I don't know if I mentioned it, but we're starting with the brim. So this is just the brim for now. So now you're going to do this front post, back post until you have a total of 6 rows. So we have 1, 2, 3. You need 3 more rows of just doing the front post and the back post. I'll show you guys one more time, especially since now we're on the, so you go around the post that you already started. Sorry if I'm stumbling a little bit, guys. This is my first video and I'm trying to do it right for you guys so you can follow. So you do the front post and you just follow now. And do exactly what you did the row before, and you follow these posts that you've already done. I'll go over it another time so that for people who don't know, because I want everybody to feel like they can do anything. So yarn over and go in and back out right around that post that you already did. And then the back post, yarn over and come up and back through and finish your double crochet. So like I said, total of 6 rows, and then we'll meet back up because then we're going to change color and start the main part of the pattern. I hope all of this is making sense to you guys because I want you to be able to make this hat with me. If there's anything I'm leaving out or I'm going too fast or too slow, whatever, let me know in the comments, okay? And by the way, welcome to Curiosity Crochet. Let's have some fun together. I'll meet you back up after the 6 rows. Okay, so I came to the end of my 6th row. Now what I want to tell you is if you're using a thicker yarn, it might be look a little wider than mine. Now, if you look at it and you say that is just too wide, take out a row or two. You make it however you want to. Any yarn, if you look at it and say, I want it bigger, I want it smaller, you do as many rows as you want to because I want you to love your hat. Okay, but we're going to do the same thing we've been doing. We're going to slip stitch into your first front post double crochet. Now we are going to change colors. Here comes the fun part, people. This is my favorite, ladies and gents. I love the main part of the hat. Any hat I make, it is my favorite. So, but we're going to change colors. So my scissors are not here. I'll have to use these big ones. Oops. So we are going to, I'm going to show you something cool that I just learned. Pull up on that a little bit and go into that stitch you're in and pull this loop back through so that you're on the inside, and then do a chain 1 and pull it out and cut it. Because it hides it on the inside instead of the outside then. So it just looks cleaner. It was something new I learned and I just thought that is the coolest for hats because then you don't see it. Anyways, we're going to change colors here. I'm going to go to my gray, which is actually going to be like the main color. So the bottom here, we're going to start with the gray. We'll add the green back in a couple rows. I'll show you all of it. But so I always do a slip knot to add it back on because it just makes it more secure. But you're gonna go into where you left off, so into this first stitch, because then everything's together. And just slip stitch that on there. You can add it on however you want to. I mean, whatever you're comfortable with. And we're going to chain just 1 right now. Now, like I said, I like to crochet my ends in. So you're going to go right back into that same stitch. Now for this first row, we're just going to do a base row. So we're just going to do single crochets all the way around. Single crochet is just insert your hook into that top, pull up a loop, pull it through both loops. You're literally just going to go into the top of every stitch and get our base of a single crochet. That's it for this row. Nice and easy, right? I'll meet you back up right after that. Okay, I did my single crochets around, And we're going to do the same thing. You're going to, don't worry about that chain one. And you're going to slip stitch into that first single crochet. Now, we're going to start the actual go round. There's 2 rows of repeats. They're easy as long as you follow what I say. And if you know double crochet, single crochets, this is easy peasy. So for the first repeat, now when we get going, like I said, the very bottom of this, I keep this color. It's just easier. If you want to switch your color right now, this is the row you're going to do the other color in, the repeat row. But it is totally up to you. So we are going to chain 1, go back into that same stitch, do a single crochet. Now you're going to chain 1, you're going to skip 1, go into the next one, do another single crochet. Chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1, skip 1, single crochet, chain 1. Now you're going to do that all the way around, and I'll meet you back up. Okay, so you should end with 1 left to skip. So you're still going to chain that 1, and you are going to slip stitch into that first single crochet. So far, so good, right? And ooh, these colors, look at that, dog hair everywhere. Ugh. Anyways, this is going to be a pretty spring hat. I'm excited. Okay, now here is where I'm going to change hooks. I like to keep that top part. That's why I don't change the color right away, because I like to keep this bottom part, this top part of this pattern, but the bottom part a little brought in. But now I'm going to switch to my 5, and we're going to do the second row of repeats. So for this, you're going to chain 3. Still doesn't really count as anything, it's just a builder. Because now we're going to do a cluster. And a cluster is, for this one, is 4 double crochets together, so you don't complete them. I'm going to show you. So yarn over, and in that chain 1 space that we created, the very first one, you're going to insert your hook, bring it up, pull through those first 2, don't finish it. Do that 3 more times. 2 loops, don't finish it. 3, 2 loops, don't finish it. 1 more time. 2 loops, don't finish it. Now you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 loops on your hook. You're going to pull it through all of those, and there's your first cluster. Give me 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Somebody was knocking on my door. So you're going to chain 1 to close that off. Now you can do one of 2 ways. You can chain 1 to close it off, or you can just move on to the next. I like to close it off just so that it's finished. So now you're going to skip ahead to this next chain 1 space right here. And you're going to do the same thing. You're going to pull it up, pull through 2, leave it. Go in, pull through 2, leave it. Go in, pull through 2, leave it. Go in, pull through 2, if my yarn would cooperate. And then pull it through all 5. Oops. Close it off. And there you go, you got your clusters. Now when we add in the other color, see these single crochets that are here? That's what's going to come through. That's what's going to give it that checkered look. So I'll show you one more time, and then you guys do this all the way around. So yarn over, go through that chain 1 space, pull through 2, do it again for 2, pull through 2, 3, pull through 2, 4, pull through 2, and then pull it through, close it off. So go ahead and repeat that all the way around, and I'll meet back up with you and we'll change colors. Okay, I'm almost at the end here. And remember, we chained one at the very end to skip that one. Make sure you get that one too. It'll be kind of awkward, but make sure you get in there too, or it'll throw it off a little bit. Chain that one, and then you're gonna slip stitch to the top of this here. Skip the chain 3, and you're gonna slip stitch into the top there. But actually, we're changing colors, so don't do that yet. We're gonna bring in our other color. So we're gonna start the slip stitch, but we're gonna bring the other color through that slip stitch. And then what I like to do is just drop this other color, because we're going to come back to it. So then this way, I think I got out of screen, I'm sorry, but I like to drop it here, so then it's there to grab when you come back around. So I'm going to crochet this end in, of course, but now we're going to do that single crochet chain 1 row again. So you do the chain 1, go back in where you're at, single crochet, chain 1, you're going to skip this one, go into here, do the same thing. So basically you're skipping the chain 1 and you're going in to the top of that cluster. So single crochet, chain 1, skip that chain 1, go into the top of the cluster, single crochet, chain 1. So just repeat that around, and I'll meet back up with you. Okay, coming up to the end of that row. Now remember, this is here, so you can just grab it again. So you're you're skipping this chain 1, so that's what your last one to skip is. So don't forget that chain 1. And then do like you're gonna slip stitch, grab the other color, pull it through, and now you can drop the green one. The only fallback when I do this is they get tangled up in each other, so I just like to flip my skeins around. So now you're going to chain that 3, and same thing as the other cluster. You're going to find that first chain 1 and go in and start your cluster. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops. And then you're going to pull through and chain your 1. So just go into every chain 1 stitch, or space, I'm sorry, and do your cluster all the way around. 1, 2, 3, 4. Chain 1. So it starts to look like that, and I just think it is the prettiest. And these colors, I'm going to tell you something. My 21-year-old son, I told him pick out 2 colors, and he did great. This is going to be a nice, pretty spring hat, like for the very beginning of the spring when it's still a little chilly. Still a little chilly. Have a little springy hat to wear. I don't know where that glitter just came from. I don't know, but finish that row, and I'll meet back up with you one more time for one more, so I can show you the color change again, and then I'll let you know how far to go. Okay, coming up to the end here again, don't forget about this last chain here, because it'll throw it off. So don't forget to put your cluster in that last chain there, so it stays on track for you. And then chain that 1. And now we're going to switch colors again. So we're going to go into the top there. Ooh, there it is. We're going to grab the other color, slip stitch it, drop the gray, chain 1, leave that gray down. Sometimes if it's better for you, I crochet that first in so that it stays. And do your single crochet in that first one and then drop it, because then it holds it a little bit better. Do your chain 1, jump back over here. And now that's where we're going to go. And we're going to just repeat those 2 rows over and over till we get to the length we want. Now, if you want to do it slouchy, for any of you that saw the hat that I made before, that was a slouchy one. I took it to 10 inches long. So I measured, I used my tape measure. Let me position this better, I'm sorry. So I used my tape measure and I measured it out to be, you know, 10 inches long. I brought it to the 10. So it was super slouchy. Now you can make it as long or as short as you want. I usually do regular beanies. I make it 6 inches long and then do the decreases. On this one, there's a few decreases, so that brings it, you know, it makes it about, I'm going to say about 8 inches long at the end of it. So I'm going to do this one as a regular beanie so I can get this video put up for you guys. So I'll do mine about 6 inches and then I'll come back and we'll close it up together. Okay, I've got my length done. I'm doing a real short beanie so that I can get this done for you guys. So this is where my length is at. Now we're going to start decreasing. So whatever length you're doing it, this is where we're at. So you're going to go to your second color. And we're going to start the decrease here. So you chain 1. And you're going to do your first single crochet, chain 1. Now, we're going to go and take 2 together at this point. And you're still going to chain 1 there. And then do 1, regular 1, chain 1, take 2 together, chain 1. Do 1 regular, no. Do 1 regular, don't mind me, chain 1, 2 together. Well, chain 1. So just repeat that around and then I'll show you what we're going to do next. Okay, and then at the end here, you'll be left with 1. So just do 1 again, chain 1. And then go to this and change colors back. Because we're going to do another row of the clusters. But oops. Don't mind me, y'all. I'm just over here making a mess. I hope I'm in shot here for you guys. So now we're going to do another row of clusters. But we're going to bring it in a little bit. So still in the chain 1 spaces, you just have to find them, you know, between the decreases. You're going to chain 3 again. And then right into that chain 3. But this time, we're just going to do, excuse me, we're just going to do 3 in the cluster. So 1, 2, 3. Close it off and then get rid of that green one there. So into the next chain space we're going to do 3 again. 1, 2, 3, and then so on and so forth. So do the cluster of 3 around this time and I'll meet you back up. Okay, now still don't forget about this last one here, because you don't want to throw it off even at the end here. So do your cluster of 3 in there, close it off, and now we're going to go back to the green one more time and do another decrease if I can get it in there. Good Lord, I'm having issues today. We're going to grab that. Still going to start right here but we're going to bring them together now. So we're going to do it, decrease in every 2. Chain 1. Then go to the next 2. Chain 1. For people who don't know how to do a decrease, let me show you. So you go into your first stitch and you pull up a loop. You go into the next one. Remember, we're skipping this chain 1 anyways, so don't worry about that. So you go into the next one, pull up another loop. You've got 3 loops on your chain. Pull it through all 3. Do that chain 1. Now you got my hair in here. Wow! You guys must think I'm nuts. Thanks for bearing with me through my first video. I hope I did you guys okay. I mean, I'll get better and better as I go along, but I wanted to get this pattern out there for you guys. So, thanks for coming, I guess. So, again, we're going to just bring everything together now. And chain 1. So finish that around and I'll meet you back up. Okay, and then at the end, we're going to have that 1 stitch left, and you can just do a single crochet and chain 1 again. So we're going to do 1 more row of this cluster stitch. Now, you can cut the green one off because we're going to be done with that green one now. So you can cut that off and be done with that, because then we're going to close it all the way up with the gray after we do this. Sorry about that. Okay, so do our chain 3. I got to remember to make sure I'm staying in the camera here. Okay. Now if I could get situated here. Now we're going to do just a cluster of 2. I bet y'all could guess that, huh? Since we were going down and down and down. Still going to close it off though with the chain 1. And just go to the next. And do 2. So it's basically just crocheting 2 together. At this point, still a little cluster, but so do that all the way around, and then I'm gonna have to sew that one in. Okay, and then I'll meet you around, and we're gonna do like 1 more small decrease with just the gray and single crochet, and I'll show you how I cinch it up. Okay, I'm here at the end, and make sure you don't forget that last chain again. Get that last little cluster in there and chain 1. And now instead of changing colors, we're just going to stay with this and just do 1 more little close up here, because we're pretty small now, but I like bringing it kind of small so that you can just cinch it up real nice and easy. Now when you are doing it as a slouchy, because see how this comes in kind of tight right here? When you're doing a slouchy, it's kind of nice because it comes all the way in. This regular little beanie, got it. But once we cinch it together, you won't see that so much. But, so I'm just going to chain 1, and I'm going to do 2 together all the way around. We'll just do it together here, because it brings us nice and closed, and then we can do a short, simple little cinch instead of, I don't know, I just don't like the way it looks when you pull too much closed. I think it looks, I don't know how to describe it, but it just doesn't look right to me. See, and you'll be left with 1 more here. I guess I just don't like the puckered look you get when you pull too much together. So now we're left with just this small hole to cinch together. And I'm going to take this and do that little trick I showed you guys earlier again to bring this inside. And then just pull that kind of tight. Just chain one. You want to leave, I always over leave it. I'm crazy. But I like to make sure I have enough to sew it in and everything. And if I put a pom-pom on it or whatever, like if I make a pom-pom, I should say, I like to have a string inside to tie it to. I mean, everybody does stuff different. We all come up with our own ways of doing things. Down the line, making videos, I'll show you guys how I do my pom-poms, but I don't think I'm even going to put one on this one because it's a small beanie. It looks cute though, and these colors are pretty together. They're bright. But anyways, I'm going to put this to the inside, and I'm going to turn it inside out so that I can cinch it this way. Oh, I gotta sew that in. I've said that like 3 times already. Okay, so the way I do this, if you can see the stitches there, I'm gonna go in and out of, like, after you've come out of this one, you go to the next one and go in and out. And because we don't have much here, it's gonna go real quick. I think that's the last one. And then you just pull it closed, and then I am gonna go back and forth here across it a couple times just to keep it nice and shut tight. And then I like to just go through the loop and pull that tight. Yeah, see? That looks pretty good. And I'm going to do it one more time. I hope I was in the shot for this stuff. I'm really sorry, you guys. This phone stand that I got, I thought would be a little longer, and 'twas not. Very 'twas not. So I have to sit on the floor with it and get as close as I can. But I'm making it work. We're doing what we can do. And hopefully this video turns out. See, and then I'm just going to weave this tail in a little bit so that I know it's going to stay put. And I don't have to worry about if somebody's wearing it and it falls apart or whatever. And I overweave probably, but I'd rather be safe than sorry, if y'all know what I mean. So I'm going to come back around this way. I mean, how boring to make you guys watch me do this, but I'm just finishing this up. Now, if I was putting a pom-pom on, I would leave this, because then when I pull the string from the pom-pom through, I would tie it and weave those in together. But you can cut it off at that point if you're not adding a pom-pom. But there you go. Mine's a little small beanie, but you guys, if you did slouchy or whatever, I am going to let you know that a lot of the stitches that I learned to make, the hats that I make, are from a lady named Natty Crochet. She's on YouTube too, because I like watching videos just as much as reading. Like, I pretty much prefer videos over reading patterns, but she's cute. She makes me laugh a lot because she's always like saying quirky things, and she makes it easy to learn the stitch, so it's nice. So if you ever want to just learn a pattern or a stitch to make something out of, she's a good place to go. I just wanted to give her a little shout out because I learned this stitch from her. She didn't do it like with the different colors. I kind of added my own spin to it, but and then, yeah, if you guys could like and subscribe, I'm going to try and put out 2 videos a week. And So I'm putting this one out today, so I'm going to try and get another one out Wednesday. And then somewhere down the line, I'm going to make it a regular thing where like 2 days a week, the same days, I will post a video both days for you guys so you know when they're coming. Barring anything happening or whatever. You know. And sorry if you can hear my son in the background. He's out in the living room playing on the Xbox, of course. And he's talk. So, anyways, yeah. So, like and subscribe. And I'll be back Wednesday with another hat for you guys. Somewhere down the line also, I'll probably add more than just hats. But I think I'm going to start with just hats for now. And I appreciate y'all. You have a great Sunday, and I will see you on Wednesday.